Hello there you guys, welcome to another one of my live videos and I'm just going to currently on this video right now give you my analysis on the Manchester United-Barcelona game of course as well. So potentially Manchester United have just lost to Barcelona at Old Trafford in the Champions League quarter-final first leg of course as well. But from my opinion and from my own perspective, Manchester United of course were really unlucky tonight of course in that game, and I think the only thing that let us down tonight, we didn't create enough big chances. We're lacking in that final third, even though Manchester United did have a lot of the ball in that final third. I just don't think we were creating a lot of chances, to be quite honest, and I think that's what let us down, to be quite honest. But I thought the energy levels were really good. I thought we dominated that midfield very well indeed. I thought McTominay had a really good game for Manchester United, and we do know that he's inexperienced, especially at Champions League level of course as well, because obviously we know that McTominay and Fred were playing in that midfield tonight alongside Paul Pogba, because obviously there was no Ander Herrera, there was no Nemanja Matic of course as well. But McTominay was aggressive in his play tonight. He was very good in that midfield and very influential in that midfield. Was Scott McTominay. So I'll potentially say he was my man of the match tonight. I thought Fred, had a really good game tonight as well. I was really impressed with Fred. I thought his work ethic was very good. I thought he was controlling the midfield very well, and I thought some of his passes, were very precise indeed. I thought Pogba, had a better game tonight as well. I thought he was very influential in that midfield of course as well. So the joy to the game, Manchester United were on top. I thought on that right wing as well, we looked very good indeed, but I think potentially, the crosses, just weren't good enough, to be quite honest. So I think there was some good individual performances tonight from Manchester United, and Manchester United, performed really well. I don't think we had a shot on target in the game, but we just didn't create enough chances, and that's what potentially let us down. But we pressed Barcelona a lot in that game. We pressed them high up the pitch. We forced them into errors of course as well. But Barcelona were really poor tonight. Apart from the first opening 15 minutes, obviously they took the lead in the first 12 minutes. Of course, it was actually a Luke Shaw own goal. Obviously, VAR had to intervene in that. Of course, I think it was a messy cross. Luis Suarez had headed, but I think it sort of came off Luke Shaw's shoulder of course as well. The bad news is of course Luke Shaw is going to miss the second leg of course well, after Luke Shaw currently got booked. And I thought Barcelona were very poor tonight. Apart from the first 12 minutes, obviously in the first 12-15 minutes they had the majority of the possession. Barcelona, they were controlling the game, even though Barcelona were very sloppy tonight. They give the ball away quite a few times as well. I think Gerard Piqué had got man of the match for Barcelona, but potentially considering the poor, I'd still say they had better the chances. Barcelona obviously they had a big chance as well in the first half, from Philippe Coutinho, which was saved by David De Gea. I think Manchester United's best chance in the first half was from Diego Dalot. It was a good inviting cross, but it was very poor from Diego Dalot indeed. So that was a big chance we had. I think Rashford had a couple of chances from far out in the first half of course as well. So potentially tonight I think Manchester United were really unlucky. Of course, we saw McTominay and Fred in that midfield. Rashford wasn't at his best tonight. He did make a couple of decent runs, in the opening 15-20 minutes something like that, but I don't know if he's fully fit, to be quite honest. Maybe we should consider maybe resting Rashford, to be quite honest with him as well. But I thought Barcelona were poor tonight, very poor indeed. We do know it's going to probably be a different story in the second leg of course as well. Messi was very poor tonight as well. I think he got his nose cut and his eye cut. Obviously it was small, and I think he elbowed Lionel Messi, and that might have had an effect on Messi's game of course as well. So he got elbowed in the face, did Lionel Messi, but Lionel Messi was poor tonight. But I thought Suarez wasn't that good tonight either. But I thought as well, when Manchester United didn't have the ball, we looked very organised. I thought we held the defensive line, very good indeed. So I can take a lot of credit, from tonight's performance. I just think we lacked in the final third. There wasn't enough creativity in the final third, and we just didn't create enough chances, to be quite honest. So I think that's the only thing that let Manchester United down tonight, of course as well. But Messi wasn't good tonight. Messi wasn't good. Luis Suarez wasn't good. I thought it was the other player as well. Busquets, give the ball away for Barcelona, quite a few times, of course, as well. And potentially, so then in the second half came in the game, of course, as well. And potentially, again, Man United started lively in the second half, of course, well. We're passing the ball very well. We looked very good out wide, of course, as well. And, we did have chances in the game. I think we had about, 4 chances in the game, of course, as well. But potentially, we didn't take them. But I just think, that Manchester United, didn't create enough chances tonight, of course, course, as well. And I think, then obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, brought some substitutions on in the game. We saw Martial coming on for Lukaku. Martial didn't really do much, when he came on. Obviously, Jesse Lingard as well came on for Diego Dalot in the game. I thought when Dalot came on, I think Dalot came off, I think, Manchester United did lose control of the game, to be quite honest with you as well. And I think the third substitution was Pereira came on for Marcus Rashford in the game, of course, as well. Barcelona had a couple of opportunities as well in the second half. They had a chance from Luis Suarez that had hit the side netting, of course. They also had a chance from Jordi Alba that forced De Gea to make a save, of course, as well. So that's basically, my analysis on the game. There wasn't really a lot of chances in the game, to be quite honest, because Barcelona didn't really have a lot. I think they had 3 big chances, one from Coutinho, as I said, 2 in the second half, from Luis Suarez at the side netting, Jordi Alba, where David De Gea, had to make the save. But I think our best chance, was that Dalot chance, just before the half-time mark, of course, as well. So potentially, we're not out of this tie, of course. We've still got to go to the new camp, of course, which we do know is going to be extremely difficult indeed. I think that Barcelona have only lost once at the new camp, of course, this season. But I'm very, very happy. I'm obviously very, very disappointed with the result, of course. Obviously now Manchester United have got to go over there and win 2-0, as we all know, which is going to be extremely difficult indeed. But I'm going to take a lot of credit, from tonight's performance. I don't think Luke Shaw did too bad tonight. I thought Lindelof, played well again, to be quite honest with you. For me, Ashley Young, needs to be dropped, to be quite honest with you. But I can take a lot of credit, tonight for Manchester United's performance, because we know recently we've been in a bad vein of form and the performances haven't been up to scratch. But I think tonight Manchester United, were the better footballing team. I think it's just the final third, basically, that let us down, to be quite honest. And I think, we kept Messi at bay very, very well. We kept Suarez at bay very, very well. And Messi was very, very poor tonight, indeed. But we do know Barcelona are a great team, of course. They're a well-established club. They've got lots of money. They've still got arguably the best player in the world, if we were relying on Messi, of course, indeed. So they looked very, very ineffective tonight, did Barcelona. They did pass the ball around, but I just thought they were very, very sloppy indeed. And I think the pressing from Manchester United, forced, Barcelona into mistakes, of course, as well. So potentially going into the second leg, of course, as well, we do know it's going to be extremely difficult indeed. We do know, obviously, that Barcelona are one of the favourites to win the Champions League. And as we all do know, obviously, Barcelona are going to be winning their 4th La Liga in 5 seasons, of course, as well. And I think, they've scored a hell of a lot of goals this season, Barcelona. I think they've scored about 81 in the La Liga, of course, this season. Over 100 goals in all competitions, as we all know, as well. So that's really my match analysis for tonight. I'll give probably McTominay where Fred the man of the match. It's really hard to choose, to be quite honest, because I did say when Fred has been playing, to be quite honest with you, he's been really, really poor indeed, as Fred. But I thought tonight, he stepped up to the plate very, very well. I still don't know if he's a long-term solution, and I don't know if he's got the ability to graduate Manchester United to that level, of course, as well. And potentially, when we did have that injury crisis, to before as well, to Herrera and Matic, and I think, Herrera and Matic are now injured at the moment. I think the fringe players with the likes of McTominay and Fred and all that have stepped up really, really well to the plate, to be quite honest. And I thought McTominay tonight, played between the lines, fantastically well indeed. I thought he was very, very good off the ball, McTominay. I thought his awareness, were very, very good indeed. So tonight I was really, really impressed with Scott McTominay, of course, as well. And he's inexperienced, especially at Champions League level, of course, as well. Potentially, we still know we've got other injuries. We still know Bay, of course, is out with a concussion. Valencia, of course, is still out as well. Sanchez, obviously, was training yesterday, of course, as well, but obviously he didn't participate, of course, as well. So I don't know when Sanchez is currently going to be back. I'm surprised he didn't start Martial, to be quite honest. I thought he would have actually, started Martial, but he didn't. But yeah, that's really my match analysis, to be quite honest as well. But you could potentially see, the deficiencies in the squad, of course, as well. There's certain areas, where Manchester United are lacking. And obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is expected to orchestrate a big summer clear out, of course. He wants to bring at least 5 new additions to Manchester United this summer. And, he would definitely need a central defender without a shadow of a doubt. We need a central defender. We need a right back, of course. We need someone basically, as an upgrade, to Valencia and Ashley Young, of course. And I think Aaron Wan-Bissaka, would be the right candidate indeed. As priority, of course, is to get a right winger in, of course, someone that can link up with Martial and Marcus Rashford, of course, as well. And I think the left-hand side would be okay, because I think the majority of our attack is coming from the left-hand side. But obviously now it's not looking good at the moment. We've lost 4 of our last 5 games now. I think this is the 50 feet now under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in all competitions, of course. So I did say I don't think we'll win the Champions League, of course, and we just got to hope that we can get top 4 this season, so we can get Champions League for next season. So in that aspect, it makes us have more of a competitive summer transfer window. But potentially, I think now we've got 6 games left us in the Premier League. We've got to win 5 of our remaining 6 games if we do want to keep our top 4 ambitions alive, of course. So we have had an injury crisis, to be quite honest with you. Rashford did okay tonight, but I don't think he's been playing to his potential best. Marcus Rashford, to be quite honest with you, that first ever ankle injury, he sustained against Liverpool, and when he recovered from that, he hasn't been playing to his potential best, of course, and he's just recovered most recently from another ankle injury, and this is why he missed the Wolves game, Marcus Rashford. I don't think he's been playing to his potential best, because usually he's like lightning, he likes to get them runs in behind, of course, as well. I saw him tonight, a couple of times he was making some good runs, with Marcus Rashford, of course, well, but I thought the crossing wasn't good enough tonight, to be quite honest with you. The crossing wasn't good enough, and we just weren't clinical enough in the final third, and that's what basically, let Manchester United down. As I did say, if we get them opportunities, we have got to take them opportunities, to be quite honest with you as well. I'd say Barcelona still had better chances, but Barcelona were really, really poor there tonight, to be quite honest. We were forced them in quite a few mistakes, of course, as well. So I can take a lot of credit, tonight from Manchester United's performance, of course, well. But anyway, we're going to get around over £200 million to spend this summer. Obviously, the club is still looking to hire a director of football to come in, obviously, to change the club structure and all that. And it's good that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is obviously, emphasising his targets, which is very, very good indeed. He's been in regular contact, with Ed Woodward, of obviously, making plans for this summer, of course, well. But we've got to get the right players that have got the ability to elevate Manchester United in the next 2 to 3 years, of course, and maybe we should be sensible with our recruitment, of course, this summer, of course, well. But definitely, Solskjaer's still the right man for Manchester United, without a shadow of a doubt, indeed. Obviously, now he's a 3-year deal. He's obviously now we know the permanent manager. It hasn't been the best, since he's been named a permanent manager, but he's obviously got to get the right recruitment this summer, and obviously his expectation levels are going to be in these 3 years, or so. He's obviously get Manchester United, back to the powerhouse as we was under Ferguson, and get us back up there competing and challenging and possibly winning trophies, of course, as well. But we've got to get the right recruitment to Manchester United, of course, this summer as well. So potentially you can see the deficiencies in the squad. Solskjaer's obviously planning to build a team worthy of the club's history, of course, as well. There's still some contract renewals to sort out. As I did say, Solskjaer's expected to orchestrate a big summer clear out, as we all know, as well. So potentially we've got to get the right players to Manchester United this summer, and as I did currently say, maybe we shouldn't spend, too much money on one player, because there's quite a few players, that are available, for a reasonable figure. As I did update you today, in relation to Toby Alderweireld, of course, as well. Reports have been coming out saying that Manchester United are set to trigger Toby Alderweireld, 25 million release clause. This has been going on in the media in the last couple of days. I think Alderweireld is keen on making the move to Old Trafford, because obviously he's refused to sign a contract renewal with Tottenham, of course. Well, and we do need a leader in our backline, someone that can, go alongside Victor Lindelof in our backline, of course. Well, and I think Toby Alderweireld, would be the right candidate. I know there's much better than Toby Alderweireld. He's nowhere near on the same levels as the likes of the Sergio Ramoses or the, Rafael Varans or the Koulibalys, of course, as well. But we do know that he's available for a reasonable figure. Of course, he's well Premier League proven. Of course, he's Toby Alderweireld as well. So potentially he could be one of Manchester United's first signings this summer, of course. But he's age 30 now. I do have reservations about him. He has lost that yard of pace a little bit, as Toby Alderweireld. But obviously, if he is to leave Tottenham this summer, obviously, Tottenham have still got other options in their backline. They've got Davinson Sanchez and Vertonghen, that can combine in their backline, of course. Well, but Tottenham in January activated a 12-month extension, of course, and included a 25 million release clause, of course. Well, he's been at Tottenham a number of years now. I think he's made over 150 appearances for the club, of course, as well. But we definitely need to address our defensive deficiencies, because we definitely need the centre back, of course. Even though I've analysed, I think we've been better defensively under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer overall, but we'd still definitely need a centre back, of course, as well. If a new centre back is to come in this summer, obviously Eric Bailly's future is definitely up in the air, of course. And Eric Bailly's been in and out of the team this season. Of course, at the moment he's got a concussion. This is why he wasn't involved tonight against Barcelona. But Eric Bailly's made 49 appearances for the club in the league. He's only scored that one goal, as we all know. And Solskjaer's really preferred Smalling and the likes of Smalling and Jones ahead of Eric Bailly, of course, as well. So if a new centre back is to come in, Eric Bailly could be also on his way out of the club this summer, of course, as well. But potentially, there's other players that are available for a reasonable figure, just like Alderweireld. And I'd say bring Aaron Wan-Bissaka when, he's available for a reasonable figure. I think reports are coming out the other week saying that Man United are preparing to put a bid in, of around 35 of around £35 million, for Wan-Bissaka. I think he's valued at around £40 million, Wan-Bissaka. I think he's made just under 40 senior appearances for Crystal Palace. He only broke into the senior squad with Crystal Palace last year, back in February, as well, did Wan-Bissaka. And for me, he's got the ability to elevate Man United in the next couple of years. He's only 21 years of age. He's one of England's youngest upcoming talents, of course, as well. And I do think he'd be a perfect successor to Valencia and Ashley Young, as well, because Ashley Young's past it now, and I want him out of Manchester United, to be quite honest. His crossing's not very good anymore. He gets exploited far too easily on that right hand side. His pass completion's very poor, indeed. And back in the day was a really good winner, was Ashley Young, and he has been a good servant to the club as Ashley Young. We do know not too long ago we give him that 1 year extension, but I want Ashley Young to leave Manchester United this summer. He may not leave this summer. He may leave, when his 1 year extension expires, and by the time that expires, he'll be nearly 35 years of age, of course. Well, so we do need someone young and ambitious on that right hand side. And Wan-Bissaka, of course, as well, he's valued at around £40 million. We can get him for a reasonable figure, of course. I think his defensive capabilities are supposed to be very good, indeed, as well. So he's been one of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's prime targets, of course, as well. You've also, got Declan Rice that's available for a reasonable figure as well. I think reports are coming out saying that Manchester United are prepared to spend up to £50 million for Declan Rice, because obviously we've been monitoring and interested in him, because based on his fantastic performances this season for West Ham, he's attracted interest for Manchester United, of course, as well. And Declan Rice has played really well this season for West Ham, especially he's growing and developing and flourishing fantastically well under Manuel Pellegrini. He signed a new deal back in December with West Ham until 2024, did Declan Rice, of course, as well. So I think he's been in the senior squad with West Ham a couple of years now. I think he's made about 56 appearances for West Ham. He's actually mainly a defensive midfielder, but he cannot actually operate him as a centre-back, but I think he's mainly a defensive midfielder. And as I did say, we need a couple of additions in that midfield, of course. Well, someone that can link up with the likes of Pogba and Nemanja Matic, of course, as well, because we need a centre defensive midfielder that's fast and tenacious, of course, because, Matic for me is too slow. I've got strong reservations about him, to be quite honest as well. So we need a centre defensive mid, that's fast and tenacious, of course, as well. I think Declan Rice, would be the right candidate. He's one of England's youngest upcoming talents. Again, he's only 20 years of age, of course. He actually began his youth career with Chelsea, did Declan Rice, of course, at just the age of 7. He was there for quite a number of years, was Declan Rice, but I think he got axed at 14. Then he joined West Ham's youth academy, of course, as well. So reportedly, his performances for West Ham have been very good this season, of course. Well, it's good that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is showing an interest, in quite a few young players, of course, as well. And we do know, basically, the club's number one priority target, this summer, obviously still remains, Jadon Sancho, again, young, just turned 19 years of age, of course, as well as Jadon Sancho not too long ago. He's one of England's youngest upcoming talents, is Jadon Sancho, and we do need someone that can play between the bylines, put crosses into the box, and, Jadon Sancho is capable of doing it, and I think Jadon Sancho would be the right solution to Manchester United, because his performances have been very good in the past couple of years, with Borussia Dortmund, of course. We do know it's probably going to cost us a nine-figure sum of around £100 million, but I think recent reports have said that Borussia Dortmund are adamant that he will still remain at Borussia Dortmund in the new season. Jadon Sancho, he's still got a contract with Dortmund till 2022, as we all know. I think reports came out the other week saying that Man United officials have approached Jadon Sancho's representatives, and it did say Manchester United maybe believe that we could get him for around £80 million, of course, as well. But I think he'd be a great addition in our team. Obviously he's a former Manchester City player as well, where he did serve a couple of years, but I think he'd link up very well in our front line, alongside Rashford and Anthony Martial, of course, as well. So I think he'd be a great addition to the team if he came in, of course, as well. So there's been quite a few, players, that Manchester United, of course, have been interested in, as we all know, and it is good that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, of course, is emphasising his targets, which is very good indeed. Which is very good indeed, guys. And potentially, a few other names have been mentioned in the media as well, because we are looking to get some new additions into that midfield, because it's looking like probably Ander Herrera's probably on his way out of Manchester United this summer. Obviously, Pogba's future, of course, is still up in the air as well. And, there's been a lot of talks going on about Saul Niguez, that Atletico Madrid midfielder. I've been giving you an update on as well. Saul Niguez, reportedly Manchester United have been interested in him. He's also reportedly in Manchester Manchester City target reportedly as well. I think Atletico Madrid are preparing to try and offer, Saul Niguez a new contract. Reports were coming out the other week saying that he's interested in making a move to the Premier League. Is Saul Niguez, but again, he's going to cost us, quite a bit of money, of course, because I think his release clause is around 128 million. Is Saul Niguez as well. Obviously, he spent the majority of his career, with Atletico Madrid, of course, graduated from their youth system, and he's gone on to make about over 200 odd appearances for Atletico Madrid as Saul Niguez as well. I think he's 24. He's Spanish, this player, of course, as well, and he's versatile. He can operate as a defensive mid, he can play as a central midfielder, and he can also play on the right hand side. And I think he can fulfill the number 6 role, he can fulfill the number 8 role. So do you think he'd blend in very, very well in our midfield? If Manchester United, were to make a move for Saul Niguez, of course, this summer as well. But it's also said that Manchester City have also been interested in him as well. But we do currently know that players are going to be on the way out of Manchester United this summer, and definitely, Valencia is definitely one of them. Obviously, this is his 10th season now at Manchester United. He's currently out with a calf injury at the moment. Is Antonio Valencia. And over the years, he has been a good servant to the club, as Antonio Valencia, but we opted against that decision to give him that new 1-year extension. So Valencia is definitely, on his way out this summer. I think Rojo could be on his way out as well, because his career has been affected with the amount of injuries he's had as a Manchester United player. I think Darmian could be on his way out in the summer as well, because he's enjoyed a difficult time at Manchester United. Definitely Sanchez on his way out in the summer as well. Considering his substantial wages he's on, obviously it's going to be harder to find a buyer for Alexis Sanchez, but he's been one of our most inconsistent players. He's been here about 15-16 months now. Obviously, he's had quite a few injuries as well as Alexis Sanchez, and obviously he's not really first choice anyway. Sanchez, obviously Martial is first choice ahead of him, but Sanchez, considering his wages he's on, it's obviously going to be hard to find a buy for him this summer. And as I did say, what currently Sanchez is earning, it's totally affecting our wage structure in a bad way, because now we've got other players demanding quite a bit more money of course well. But Sanchez isn't playing to the highest level anymore. He is age 30, but when he has played, he just looks so restricted, hasn't fitted under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's system of course as well. Maybe we should move Lukaku on in the summer of course as well, because I saw his performance tonight. Lukaku, for me, he just seems to bottle it against the big teams, so to be quite honest, and I think his goal scoring record's really, really good, and his pedigree in the Premier League is absolutely unbelievable, but I just think his finishing isn't good enough. He doesn't get enough of them runs in behind, Romelu Lukaku. So for me, he's just not reliable, Romelu Lukaku, to be quite honest. And we spent big money on him, we paid £75 million for him a couple of years ago from Everton, but I just don't think I just think he should be moved on in the summer as well. So possibly he will be moved on in the summer with Romelu Lukaku. I also think Juan Mata's probably on his way out of the club this summer of course as well. Again, he's been a good servant to United. I think he could be possibly going to Barcelona in the summer on a free transfer, because reportedly Barcelona have been in talks on getting him on a free transfer in the summer. But yeah, I think he also could be on his way out as well. But I do want Ashley Young, to leave Manchester United, of course, this summer as well. But we do basically know Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I think he's the right man for Manchester United. Of course, he's still in the process of rebuilding this Manchester United team. Of course, we didn't spend out in January. We didn't get as priority targets last summer, of course, as well. So potentially you can definitely, see the deficiencies in the squad. But we do know since Ferguson retired, we've been playing catch up for the last 5 years or summer. We've had different managers, with different philosophies. A lot of money has been spent, of course, about £600-700 million, something like that. We've seen players come in and we've seen players leave, of course, as well. So potentially we've got to, be aggressive in the summer transfer window and get our top targets, of course, which we haven't been doing, for quite a few years now, to be quite honest with you, as well. And, potentially, there's been a lot of talks about Horizon Lozano as well, and he's another player I'd love to come to Manchester United in the summer, if it was possible, because there has been talks between Manchester United and his agent, Riley Ola, of course, as well, Horizon Lozano, and he's basically reportedly said a couple of days ago saying that he's been in discussions, with Javi Hernandez. Horizon Lozano has asked Javi Hernandez about life at Old Trafford, because he had experience at Old Trafford, did Hernandez, because obviously, he was here for 5 years as a Manchester United player, was Javi Hernandez, and he was really, really good, with Javi Hernandez, the little P, of course, as well, and potentially, he's basically urged Horizon Lozano, to make the move to Manchester United this summer, but again, he's available for a reasonable figure. I think potentially he's got a release clause of around £34 million in his deal with PSV, of course. Well, I think from his own perspective, Horizon Lozano, he's keen on making the move to Manchester United, of course, but I've seen some of his performances for PSV this season, and reportedly they've been very, very good. He was very, very good in the World Cup last summer with Mexico, of course, as well, was Horizon Lozano, and I think he can actually, play as a winger winger. He can also operate as a forward as well, can arrive in the zone. But I think Manchester United, of course, have been in talks of getting him, of course, as well. So there has been quite a few media outlets, reporting on that as well. But obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, one of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's priorities, of course, as well, is obviously, to keep Pogba at the club, to keep De Gea at the club, because their futures still remain uncertain, of course, as well. You've got Paul Pogba. Obviously, I thought he stepped up to play tonight, very, very well. I thought he grew and developed into the game very, very well. Pogba, I thought he had a good game tonight. He was getting more of the ball tonight with Paul Pogba, and I thought he played quite well tonight, Pogba. There's been a lot of talk, of him, possibly, going to Real Madrid in the summer. Obviously, a couple of weeks back, was it, Paul Pogba, he says Real Madrid are one of the biggest clubs in the world. He's described them as a big club, of course. Well, and did say Madrid's a dream for anyone, so that indicates basically that he's not intending on spending the rest of his playing career in England, of course, Paul Pogba. And obviously his agent Mariola has been in the process of trying to find him a new club. He's been to Madrid to have a couple of negotiations about a summer move for him. He's been to Manchester, of course, as it reported the other week as well, to negotiate. He's been to Manchester to negotiate a summer move as well for Paul Pogba, of course. But Zinedine Zidane is a big admirer of the player. Obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has held talks with Paul Pogba, of course, as well. I think Solskjaer still says he's happy at Manchester United. He did say he's happy at Manchester United, and Solskjaer still insists that Paul Pogba has a big future at the club, of course, as well. So this is what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said, and Solskjaer has insisted that Paul Pogba will not leave. I think he did say the other day, as he updated you, that Manchester United are in the process of beginning contract negotiations with Pogba to try and get him a new contract, of course, as well. But potentially, I think Pogba's demanding an astronomical salary of around £500,000 a week if he's to remain loyal to the club and if he's to sign a new contract, of course, as well. I think Man United are keen on getting him a new 3-year deal, of course, as well, because he's obviously got 2 years left on his current deal at the moment. Well, over 2 years left on his deal, plus an option of a further year as well. But he's heading nearly now into his fourth season at the club, of course. Obviously, we paid £89 million for him from Juventus, back in 2016. But this is the best I've seen of Paul Pogba in this, this 3 or 4 month period under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Obviously, before tonight, in the last couple of games before tonight, his performances were below par, but I thought he stepped up to the plate tonight. And when he's playing in the right vein and manner, without a shadow of a doubt, he's one of the best midfielders in world football, in my opinion. He's still 26 and, he's still got a lot of years ahead of him, but there has been a lot of talks that Real Madrid could get him this summer, but I think he did say Real Madrid were preparing to put a bid in of around 126 million for Paul Pogba, but I think Man United are willing to turn down any offers if they do come for him in the summer. We've got De Gea as well. De Gea's obviously still not yet signed a new contract for Manchester United. Manchester United have been in talks of getting De Gea a new contract to the club. Reportedly, he's demanding he wants around £350,000 a week, David De Gea, if he's to remain loyal at the club and if he's to commit his long-term future at Manchester United. He wants around £350,000 a week. Reportedly, Manchester United are not willing to meet his current wage demands. This is why we haven't come to an agreement to get him a new contract yet, of course, as well. But again, he's been a great servant for Manchester United. This is his 8th season now at Manchester United. As we all know, he's made over 300 odd appearances in all competitions as De Gea. He's obviously got 100 Premier League clean sheets, which is very, very good. Obviously, he's won the club's player of the year 4 out of 5 seasons as De Gea. Of course, he's won everything here domestically as well as David De Gea. So hopefully somewhere along the line we can come to an agreement to get him a new contract. Real Madrid have been long admirers of the keeper, don't forget. Recent reports have said that PSG are reportedly interested in David De Gea, of course, as well. But I think he still remains happy at Manchester United, but he's demanding £350,000 a week. Reports were coming out saying that PSG are willing to meet his £350,000 a week wage demands reportedly as well, but he's still under contract here till 2020, is De Gea, because obviously last year Man United activated a 12-month extension on his current contract of course as well. So we want to, Solskjaer wants to keep De Gea and he also wants to keep Paul Pogba of course as well. And the one good positive news is in relation to Marcus Rashford, of course, as well, and as I did update you the other day as well. Reports have been coming out about Marcus Rashford saying that he's close to signing a new deal with Manchester United worth around £78 million. Reportedly, Rashford has been in advanced talks with Manchester United over a new 5-year deal worth around £300,000 a week, reportedly as well. So potentially, Rashford is demanding that he wants £300,000 a week if he's to commit to a new long-term contract at Manchester United. So potentially Rashford's demanding the wages of what currently Wayne Rooney was on, when he was at Manchester United. Because obviously we had Wayne Rooney for 12 years, of course, well, and potentially he was on about £300,000 a week was Wayne Rooney. Obviously the all-time leading goal scorer, with 253 goals he scored for Manchester United, and of course he was a great saving to Manchester United. But reportedly Rashford is demanding £300,000 a week. Potentially at the moment in his current deal, Rashford is on about £80,000 a week, so he's probably going to see his wages increase by nearly 4 times, of course, well, Marcus Rashford. So potentially he wants £300,000 a week. His current contract, still ends in 2020, does Rashford's. I think there's also an option of a further year as well. But he's been United, he's born and bred in Manchester, he's been a United player since the age of 7, he's progressing up the ranks fantastically well. I don't think his performances have been great as late, of course, because he has sustained, a couple of ankle injuries, as we all know. And he wasn't brilliant tonight, Marcus Rashford, but he did make a couple of decent runs in the game as I was watching as well. So potentially, as I give you mainly my analysis on the game tonight, give you updates, on players I think, Manchester United, should recommend coming in the summer. It was the difference was just a Luke Shaw on goal. Really, I thought tonight there's a lot of positives to take, from tonight's game. To be quite honest, who's to say we can't go to the new camp, and get a victory against Barcelona. Look what we did in the last round against PSG. We're 2-0 down from the first leg, and then in the second leg we performed a fantastic, miraculous comeback and made history, of course, in the Champions League. But we do know it's going to be a total different game, when we do go to Barcelona. The Nou Camp basically is a fortress, and Barcelona themselves, seldom lose, to be quite honest with you as well. But potentially, I saw a lot of positives tonight, in that game. I thought we pressed them very, very well, high up the pitch. We forced them into mistakes, of course. I thought his energy levels, were really, really good. I thought Pogba was very, very influential in the midfield. I thought McTominay, was very, very good on and off the ball. I thought McTominay, when he didn't even have the ball, I thought his awareness was good. I thought he was showing that determination, to get the ball back. Fred, did the same thing, quite a few times as well. For tonight, I thought Fred played well. I thought McTominay, played well as well. I thought Pogba improved tonight as well. Luke Shaw didn't have a bad game, but obviously we're going to miss him for the second leg, of course, because obviously he got a booking, did Luke Shaw. For me, Ashley Young's passed it tonight again. I thought Lindelof didn't have a bad game. I thought defensively we did very, very well as well, but I just think that let us down tonight. We just didn't create enough opportunities tonight. I don't think Diego Dalot did bad tonight. He wasn't the best player on the pitch, but I don't think he, did bad. He had a big chance in the first half, which really he should have done better with. I don't even think Manchester United had a shot on target tonight in that game. I think we had about, the chances I can remember, I think we had about 4 chances, was it? Or something like that as well. But I'd still say, Barcelona were very, very poor tonight. They were very sloppy. Messi were very quiet. Suarez, very, very quiet. I think, as I did say, Gerard Piqué, got the man of the match for Barcelona. I think they still had the better chances, because they had a great chance for Coutinho in the first half. They had 2 in the second half. I can remember, one from Jordi Alba, good save from De Gea, one from side netting from Luis Suarez, of course, as well. So potentially now, we move on. Got West Ham coming up this weekend. I think it's Old Trafford, of course, as well. Obviously, I think West Ham, are fighting, to get in the top half of the table, of course. Well, I think they're sitting 11th in the league. West Ham, did some good transfer business last summer. They invested quite well. I think West Ham last summer, recommended about 10 players to come in. They've got the likes of Orphanage, who I do quite like. They've got like Sammy Nasri. They've got Jack Wilshere in that team. They've got that Felipe Anderson, of course, as well. Potentially, I do fancy Manchester United, to beat West Ham at home. To be quite honest with you, we obviously lost to them 3-1, of course, early on the season. But obviously, this is Manuel Pellegrini's first season as West Ham manager. Obviously, I think he's managed quite a few teams, Manuel Pellegrini. Wasn't he at Madrid one time, if I can remember rightly? I think he was at Malaga at one point as well. I do know that he did win the title with Manchester City, of course, well, did Manuel Pellegrini. So they have got quite a few good players of West Ham. I've currently looked at, I think they've got Lucas Perez in there as well, as I did see. But yeah, it's not going to be as easy as we think. But obviously, we've got to win 5 of our remaining 6 games in the league if we've got any chances of top 4. Of course, Chelsea are now creeping up. They're they're in a bit of a good run of form now at the moment. Chelsea, of course, obviously, I think they're probably one of the favourites, to go on and win the Europa League. Chelsea, obviously, if they don't win the Europa League, obviously they're going to want top 4, of course, as well. Chelsea, of course, as well. But as I did say, we're very, very unlucky tonight. We're coming up against elite opposition with great players. Potentially still one of the best teams in the world. Not potentially, the team there was, in 2011 and 2009 when they beat us in them 2 Champions League finals, of course, well. But they are still very, very good indeed, Barcelona. But I think, we put a good fight up tonight. I think the only thing that let us down, we lacked in the final third, and we just wasn't creative enough in the final third, and that's just what basically let Manchester United down. We couldn't really find any openings. openings, of course, and you know we did force tonight Barcelona into a lot of mistakes, of course, well, which is very good very good. And I think the first 12 minutes, I analysed the first 12-15 minutes, we wasn't in the game at all. They were controlling the game, even though there wasn't creating any chances. You know, they were still controlling the game. They were passing the ball very well. But then as soon as they went 1-0 up, I thought the momentum grew into Manchester United, and we started to play. We started getting into the game. You know, we're doing very well in the midfield. I thought we held the defensive line very good indeed. And I thought Messi was poor tonight. And Messi, obviously, as I did say, you know, he got elbowed in the face. You know, did line on Messi, and that could have had a bad effect on his game. And of course, but Messi's the La Liga's all-time top goal scorer, Argentina's all-time top goal scorer. I think Champions League is the all-time top goal scorer as well. You know, line on Messi. So he's an absolutely sensational player indeed. So anyway, guys, we'll be back tomorrow. Some more live videos. If you do consider, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do consider subscribe, as always, and take care. God bless. I'll see you again very soon. Thanks for watching.